Hello everyone, my name's Rendi and this is going to be a special, unique episode of my level 3 one of one series. One that's going to cover not only progression on my level 3, but on what's going to be happening with my channel and just what I've been going through and what I've been achieving over the last about 10 months in the game as well as in real life, and specifically where the future is headed in terms of the account, the channel, and everything I want to do in this life. You may say Rendi looks different. You may have been saying this for the last 7 videos. I do look much different. Over time and throughout certain events in one's life, this will do this. People change. I've changed. Some may think for the better. I think just now possibly for the better. Yeah, I'm gonna say for the better. Through the worst to get to the better. But here we are now. But it's coming up. It's going well. As you can see behind me, there's also my gold suit that I wore for many of my iconic real life and real life hybrid gaming videos. Pretty much the centerpiece of the brand of this channel. And we're in a new suit, a pinstriped champagne one. Trying to be a little bit more professional. I'm not always going to wear this. Maybe I will, who knows. But out with the old, in with the new. And if you want this suit, be prepared. Later in this video you can figure out how you could possibly get it, but we're going to break down everything this account has planned for entirely ever. Sit back, relax, enjoy, and my dog Bozo here wants me to throw this, so I'm gonna do that real quick.
Do you ever just play RuneScape and have a good time?
No,
Or was it always just shit for you?
it's terrible. Okay, so let's get into some of the account progression I've been working on over the last 10 months, some of the smaller goals, achievements, and the overall trajectory of where this account is headed. So off the bat, eventually on this account, I want 98 in every skill, and then 99, but I think I want 98 first so I can go for an untrimmed Slayer cape. That's going to be quite hard because the current method for getting Slayer up on a level 3 is like 10 to 20 KXP per hour using alt accounts in the wilderness. So if I decide this is a little too grim of a goal and I want to get some stats up quicker, I might actually go for an untrimmed sailing cape when the skill releases, just to showcase that the account is newer and not a very old level 3 account. Plus, I feel like an untrimmed sailing cape will be kind of rare because once again, only newer accounts will have it. I can actually get an untrimmed cape and then do a raids method, reacquire it, and then get the trimmed version of that cape as well as then get every other 99. It's a common thing that a lot of people know about in the game, but even yes, on a level 3 without telegrab, it is possible. Originally, I thought I was going to have to stay 59 agility for almost the entirety of this account to block Bloodveld tasks in the wilderness, since I do have Priests in Peril done, and 60 agility would grant me access to the God Wars dungeon where those are located. But I did find a workaround I've talked about briefly in other videos, and that is by using the partner slayer system, as well as use the account that is filtering tasks with the partner slayer system as one that also completes the task at the same time, being able to renew tasks as well as disband them in partner form and still get the slayer task kill credit across both accounts at the same time, and the same quantity of NPCs on the initial acquiring of the task. So I did have an initial slayer alt you saw before I was using for partner slayer, but there was a problem. This account had 60 strength, and one of the few quests it had done was Death Plateau, meaning eventually I would be getting Bloodveld tasks as well as spiritual warriors at higher slayer levels, and maybe even spiritual mages. Can't quite remember on that one, but this was not the perfect filter account, and I had not yet done the quest for quest point blocking tasks yet. So I looked through my list of accounts. I have like over 300 accounts that are just sitting around I've used for various tasks over the last decade on Old School, and I did find one that will be a little bit better for this. It's already got a very high magic level, but it has 0 quest points, and it's got 1 agility and 1 thieving, which is what I'm really looking for here. It's also got 1 strength, so it can technically do Death Plateau, Troll Stronghold, and Edgar's Ruse without ruining everything. Now the only thing here is I will once again have to get a new Major into Cape 2 and do the Mage Training Arena mini quest, but also I'll have to get a high prayer level once again, which isn't a big deal. But the main thing I have to do on this account that I would have had to do on the other account anyways is get what I figured out that could be up to 164 quest points. I'll only need 150 of those quest points to block 3 tasks on this partner slayer account, but that's going to take quite some time. Luckily, the quests I can only do on this account are some of the easier ones, and out of the 164 164, dropping it down to 150. I even crossed off some more that are harder or had higher requirements, so this would take me even less time. But I do plan on getting 150 quest points through very specific quests on this account. I'm just trying to basically avoid Dragon Slayer, as well as any quest that requires a high agility or a high thieving level, or any quest that gives a high amount of agility XP or thieving XP. But yeah, I calculated I could get up to 150 quest points here by doing these specific quests. Once again, I'll also be avoiding Dragon Slayer for any dragon tasks. Basically, the quest I need to do can't get me past 15 agility or 23 thieving, and they can't require either of these two stats higher than that, obviously, as well. That's because at 15 agility, you get Earth Warrior tasks in the wilderness, and at 23 thieving, you get magic axes, and at a later 30-something thieving, you also get pirate tasks. So if I want the perfect filter account, I'm going to need to get the 150 quest points with those stats not touched: strength, agility, thieving, as well as also not touching Dragon Slayer 1. So by subtracting 14 from the initial 164 quest points I can do, I'm going to take off some of the higher required stat quests, such as Enlightened Journey, Forgettable Tale of a Drunken Dwarf, Perilous Moons, Shadows of Custodia, What Lies Below, Edgar's Ruse, Twarboane Trio, and Hand in the Sand. I have to sort the agility and thieving quests in a certain order because some of the thieving require thieving, but there's only one agility quest I can actually really do that doesn't require any agility, and that is Recruitment Drive for 1000 agility XP, which puts me well under 15 agility from 1. For thieving, I'll have to start with Biohazard, as there's no requirement there, for 1750 thieving XP, then do Tower of Life for 500, Giant Dwarf then from 13 to 17 thieving with 1500 XP, then I can get the 15 thieving requirement for Lost Tribe quest, puts me a bit more XP, and then I can get the Haziel Colt, which puts me at 41 XP off of 23. I know, kind of close, so I might actually avoid Haziel Colt entirely and go a different route and do one of the harder quests later on and stay around 20 thieving versus 22 41 XP off of 23. Since we're on the topic of getting stats up on a different account, let's go back to the level 3 for a second, as that's what this account is being built for anyways. I needed 90 fire making for master clues and elite clues, as well as many other various skilling levels and quests, possibly even for all of the easy, medium, hard, elite, and master clue requirements. I want to have as many of these done as possible before I get started on the clue grind. So I fire bond to 90 fire making and 81 cooking, which knocked out the fire making for redwoods and all of the cooking requirements in clue steps. As many of you know already, I also got hunter up for some of the clue requirements, but also because I wanted all the fossils from Fossil Island lamps for Slayer, which I finally did acquire at 96 hunter, but I got no Irby pet. I'm actually due for an Irby pet across this and my other Defense Pier account, which has like 9,000 combined herbivore finds. I might even get 98.9 hunter soon and hope for the pet there, even though it's not necessary. I feel like I'm just due for it at this point, and something good has to happen out of that soon. Now, one of the skill requirements I haven't touched yet is agility. I do technically need 75 plus 5 agility with the Summer Pie to use the Firmament course for master clue requirements, and 70 something agility for various elite clue requirements. I also maybe even need 85 agility for the Dagonoth King's shortcut that I'll use eventually for combat achievements, as I plan to complete every possible combat achievement this account can do at this point as a very last completionist goal. Also, by getting 70 agility, I'll be able to do the Saradomin boss and some of those combat achievements as well. And basically for Dagonoth Kings and Sarah, I'm going to be saving up stackable nitrate as much as possible and probably touch these near to last, and that's going to account for less banking with the Kings as well as with Sarah, so I don't have to get as many ecumenical keys with the method I'm looking at for killing that boss. But yeah, because I found out I can get agility through Partner Slayer and using that filter task account, I'm going to now get past 59 and even 60 agility, and I'm going to be probably doing this through Theater of Blood. Yeah, that doesn't make much sense, but I'm going to be sitting around for a lot of Theater of Blood, and I figured I might as well get some kind of remote XP, and as a level 3, the only other remote XP I can get is fletching, which I'm almost maxed out on anyways, but by using Toy Mice and catch in, because another end goal on this account once again is to continue doing hard mode Theater of Bloods, which I have set up a group of people for. Luckily, thank you all for coming in my Discord, and possibly I'll stream some of that as well in the future. This is going to be obvious, but I've lost a lot of weight, and people have been saying this and saying I've like got Benjamin Button disease and all kinds of things in the comments for the last like 7 videos. In fact, though, I've been the same weight for the last 10 videos. I think it's just now I have different camera angles and you can see me from a full, not, I was gonna say a bird's eye view, but this is definitely not a bird's eye view, from a different perspective here. This is what we're working with. Pretty thin in the hips, you know, thin in the ab region. I need to get some bulk on me, some more muscle. But eventually we're gonna do it. The next step is to bulk up, but we've got a lot more going for us in terms of healthy weight, lower blood pressure, always great to hear. But people think that this was through a healthy means. A lot of people have been asking me, how did you achieve this massive change? Well, one, I did do some healthy things. I took better care of my skin, and we got some reverse Benjamin Button aging on the face here. Obviously, I started with a new look here with a handlebar mustache. Pulls more poor parts of my face and throws them on this crazy looking mustache here. I'm kidding. Derma rollers, electrode wands, vacuum exfoliants, hyaluronic acid, snail mucin, an actual moisturizer, SPF. I would say more hydration, but honestly, I think that's a lie because, as you all know, I've been more dehydrated lately, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know, maybe that's helping. I've been drinking more Diet Coke over the last year and a half than I've ever drank in my life. And I used to drink a lot of Diet Coke. I just drink somehow much more now. The lighting in here might be hitting my face better. I don't know, it's a combination of things, but the main part is, yeah, I lost weight. Now, people might think I was like morbidly obese or something, but I just have naturally a very puffy, chubby face. I've actually been sober for 4 years, so that's not new, but a lot of that went away when I stopped drinking. More importantly, I just lost weight and finally it hit my face. I lost 45 pounds. I'm actually 5'10", 140 pounds, so I'm almost underweight. I need to bulk, like I said. Before I was 185 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, and I was just 10 pounds overweight technically on a BMI index. But yeah, it all goes to my face. And in previous camera shots, I would be, like this close to the camera. Slight difference. Even though my head still looks fucking massive because of my beard, it's not always in this shot of the camera. So maybe that's why. I don't know. How I lost so much weight. People are like, oh, you're doing so good. You're being healthy. No. I was streaming at one point, year and a half ago. The reason I stopped streaming was a lot of life situations happened. I got divorced, if you didn't know, year and a half ago. I've hopefully, though, found love again, though, more recently. It's gave me a more positive outlook on life. But I didn't have anyone to cook for anymore, and I do a lot of things for people other than myself. I know that sounds like superficial and bullshit, but I wasn't cooking as much. Therefore, I just kind of stopped eating very much. I would just get protein bars and meal supplements and just eat what I could as fast as possible and just get back to work or get back to bed rotting, one of the two. I starved myself. People are like, oh, you look so healthy. You're on the come up. Everyone suspects it's a great reason, but in reality, no, I just starved myself. That was it. I'd probably have appetite suppressant from nicotine as well. I didn't used to vape. I didn't used to take Zens. I've been doing that more, but my appetite hasn't been as heavy. I don't starve anymore, but I eat one meal a day. I wake up, make like a protein shake or take a protein bar, and then I make one meal a day or go out and get something once a day. So luckily my grocery bill's been pretty good lately, despite groceries going up. But that's how I maintain my weight, because I don't do really any physical exercise other than walking my dogs. Life's been a roller coaster, that's for sure. Personal life, I don't usually get into this. It's been through hell and back in the last year and a half, for sure. I'm not gonna get into why I got divorced or who I found love with, but everything in this life for me, love is at the top. So I'm glad I'm on that track again. I love to love. I love to receive love. Who doesn't? Let's be honest. What else? Oh, I have lost a lot of joy with video editing. If you can't tell, my style's kind of gone downhill. I've had multiple sponsorships who never paid me, who went into bankruptcy or arbitration in a foreign country that I can't collect from because it's not worth the court fees to even pursue. So financially, I was in ruin for a bit. On and off still am. My car's broken down a few times. That's been a lot to repair. It's just a lot of just random life happenings all at the same time. I had to move. I had to go through a lot of fees related to divorce, all of that stuff, a bunch of legal stuff. So oh, and I had to move, and I stayed in a closet size room for a month while the place I was moving to, which is here, was getting ready. So I've been through a lot in the past year and a half. It's been fun. Not really, but we're growing, we're learning. So yeah, that brings me back to, yeah, I stopped streaming about a year and a half ago. I actually wanted to continue streaming. I was cross-platform streaming across Kick, Twitch, YouTube for a couple of months, and then that all happened, and then I was like, I had no motivation to do much, and I kind of felt like I would have lost my audience. So I want to get back into streaming more, I think. I'm going to be streaming here on YouTube as well as Twitch and Kick, I believe, as well, so I'll link those all down below. I don't know when that's going to start, hopefully soon, for some quick fun. I can talk to my audience, although I'm a very monotone person. I've always kind of exacerbated that in my videos, but I'm not really an entertainer. I feel like I'm someone who likes to create and design, but from the background perspective. There's so many things I wanted to do in life that aren't this. That's another thing I want to get into, but I still want to do this. I still want to put out level 3 challenge videos. I maybe want to create another series at some point. That's kind of nostalgia factor. It's not going to be that fun for me, but it'll generate revenue. Something maybe like a renewal of the potato only hardcore Iron Man series. And you know, money's important. You can't always do what you love, but I like creating. I like designing. You know, I have all these crazy ideas in mind for where I want my future to go. I've wanted to be a writer. I've wanted to design and create and develop high-class wallets even. I've wanted to get into all different kinds of products. I wanted to develop an app, by the way. If anyone wants to be a technical co-founder with 50% revenue share, hit me up. I need some help with that. But yeah, I have the marketing capability, I have a master's in business administration, and I have great ideas, I believe, that can be implemented into any kind of profession. I want to do more than just challenges on RuneScape. People say, hey, Rendi, he could have cured cancer if he wasn't playing this game. And that's quite a bit of an exaggeration. I can't cure fucking cancer, but I can do other things possibly in this world that are important. And, you know, doing things on a level 3 account in a niche game already is limiting myself quite a bit, and I'll still do it. But like, I want to do other things as well. Yeah, I want to design and craft unique high-end custom wallets of all things. I don't know where my head's at these days, but I've got notes and notes and notes in my phone of ideas of things I've been wanting to do with my life. And, you know, we only get so long, so I kind of want to see if I can pursue it. But there's always money you got to grab as well to help fund everything in your life. And me living alone now for a year and a half has been quite needing of funding. Tonight, right now when I'm recording this, is the blood moon, and I'm a little bit superstitious, so I think tonight's a great night to make this video. And at least the symbolism behind the blood moon coming around and an eclipse happening tonight is you're supposed to leave behind the old you and start with the fresh you. And I think Rendi as a whole, my face, even as I talked about, has changed entirely. My personality is not scripted and acted anymore, so that's changed for the viewer. And I no longer wear gold, if you haven't noticed. In fact, I bought this champagne pinstripe suit instead. It wasn't very expensive. It was from Amazon. I don't know, I thought it was more classy at one point, but yeah, I'm trying to shed behind parts of my past and become a new version of myself, as I feel like all people should do throughout life. But I will still be making level 3 content. I will still be making unique content for RuneScape. But also today's video is sponsored by myself, actually, speaking of sponsors. And that's where I want to talk about this here. The gold suit and pant combo, along with a tie that I used in my Buffalo Wild Wings video, steering wheel Jad video, along with several other videos, hunting for Sasquatch in the woods. Some of my highest viewed videos were in this suit. My whole brand behind me, you can't see the whole photo, is me wearing this suit. This is what it was built on. Founded on this suit. Now this suit is worn to hell. It's never been washed because it cannot be washed. Yes, it's been in Arkansas woods hunting Bigfoot in swamps, and it's never been washed. My body odor is probably all over this, but I just pulled it out of storage. A lot of the metallic is fading away, but if I were to wash it, all of it would fade away, so we can't wash it. I want to auction this suit off along with the tie and the pants onto eBay. Now the original price, I think, for this, for me, I got it off wish.com. Great site. Took like 3 months to get to my house, and I think I bought it for $60. So I'm going to start the bid for this because it's got a little bit of sentimental value. Whoever wins the bid, I will sign this suit. I will give it to you. I'm starting the bid on eBay at $100 for this whole combo. And there is a lot of history in this suit. I look like a used car salesman, but instead I'm selling used gold suits today. And I think you're really going to enjoy this product if you win the bid on it. Probably this suit has an accumulated view count of like 1 million plus. Just saying. It's worth something. Surprise me or not. As well, if you've enjoyed my content over the years in any capacity and you want to help out the channel, I will be streaming here soon, and you get a little icon next to your name. You can get a 99-cent membership. I believe it's still 99 cents at tier 1, and tier 2 is only like $5. So if you want to help me out personally and you've enjoyed my content over the years and you think I've given you something of value and you want to give back to the channel, $1. Bam, $1 a month would be amazing. I'm pitching you what will be Rendi in the future. Hit me up. I have ideas for days, okay? I'm selling myself. I am the sponsor of today's video, myself. Let's get some love, some happiness, and some wealth. That's what I'm looking forward to in the upcoming season of my life. Okay, back to RuneScape achievements. Eventually, I want 85 agility or the Dagonoth King shortcut, maybe even 98 agility, and sit there for a while until we max out Slayer, or maybe even Sailing. Once again, yeah, Sailing. I hate the idea of the skill, but everyone's gonna have to do it once it comes out, basically. I mainly just hate the cosmetic aspect of the skill and like just how goofy it looks and how, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't fit in. I don't want to be walking around the coast and looking at people fucking cannoning shit. I'm sorry, it just sounds terrible. That's my opinion opinion, respect it, get over it. Please don't hate me now. But anyways, besides agility, cooking, fire making, I'll also need to get 77 rune crafting for crafting blood runes and for, I believe, some other requirements inside of all of the clue steps I'll be doing. Eventually, I'll be doing 98, and I'll be doing this through lava running discords. I can barely afford it, but I believe it's around like 2 bill with 3 runners to get 98 rune crafting, but it's worth it at like 200k XP per hour without lunars as a level 3. I already put in a 100 mil deposit into the runner discord and did an hour session for practice, and this is what it looked like. It was pretty hectic. I had to focus a lot and it was costly, but honestly at the XP rates I was getting, it's worth it because anything else is going to be a fraction of 200k XP per hour. You could maybe even up it to 4 runners and get more XP per hour once I have this down, but once again I only paid for an hour session and just gave it my all to just see how it worked. I will continue to 77 and eventually 98 and then 99 rune crafting in the future on this. Once again I'll be going for Slayer eventually, maybe for an untrimmed, but also I need 78 Slayer as well as 60 something Slayer, another earlier 70 stat Slayer to get through a lot of the Slayer requirements inside Elite and Master Clue steps that I plan on completing. So once again it's 10 to 20k XP per hour, and this will probably take a couple weeks at like 40-hour weeks to finally get done inside Wilderness with the account once it's done with 150 quest points and once I have everything set up and ready to go. Now my farming's already pretty high, it's 88. That will be one of my last skills I trained because I've already leveled it almost twice from 87 to 89 just by using Belladonna patches for Nightshades. Who knows how much Nightshade this account will need, so proactively I'm not training it for now. Yes, I do once again want the Bloodhound pet as a crazy end goal for this account, although unrealistic. I want to just see if I can pull it, but the original plan before that even is I want all uniques from all tiers of clues. Easy, medium, hard, elite even, but not beginners because you can't even get master clues from those and the emote's ugly anyway, so no, not that one. But yeah, I even want the Yuri emote from hards and even the elite casket from 200 elites. I'm gonna stockpile all the caskets from all the tiers. The elites themselves are gonna cost me a lot of money, probably billions of GP at some point, but the plan is to collect all the caskets from all the tiers for all the 200, 300, 400, and 500 requirements, and then open them all at once, possibly juggling up to 20 doable master clues from this huge lot of chests. Now, I hope to also complete the Mimic combat achievement, which is just getting a kill count on it, and I'll see how I can work around that, see if it's even possible once I get to that point, and once again, maybe pull a Bloodhound from the initial like 20 or something master clues, but without clue swapping and the rate being 1 in 1,000, there's a slim chance I'll get it from that. But I do want to complete all the clue reward tiers first anyway, so I figured might as well try and kill 2 birds with 1 stone and also get a wieldable heavy casket along the way, which is just a crazy untradeable flex item to have on a level 3 since no level 3 has it, but we're gonna be the first. Probably not the first, but we're gonna be, well, we might be the first. I don't think anyone else is gonna pay that much money to get it, so maybe. I also needed 77 plus 5 fishing for elite and master clue steps, so I did some temporos without cooking with only using the raw fish, but XP wasn't that great and there were no good pulls here. I switched to 3-tick fly fishing since I can't get strength XP from barbarian fly fishing. This was a little bit better XP but still not the best. Eventually moved to 2-tick harpooning in Zaya, which was the best XP even at only 70 fishing. I thought it would scale pretty low at this fishing, but it was pretty successful. So I finished off 77 here with a goblin hammer and a bow using the 2-tick method. I also ended up getting a giant swordfish here, which, fun fact, I can stuff because I have Mortania access on this level 3. So I'm technically going to be the only level 3 with a mounted swordfish or any mounted fish in their house. Wow, I know, crazy, right? I also stuffed my KBD heads here at the taxidermist, and yeah, so eventually I'm going to put both the KBD heads and the mounted fish head in my house, and I'll have a cool, posh level 3 house. That's going to be awesome. I also got woodcutting to 88, and I'm going to use an Axeman's Folly boost to get that to 90 for the Redwoods task for Master Clue Sherlock steps, and there's other various woodcutting requirements for Elite and Master Clue steps alike. So to do this, I learned 1.5 ticking teaks for several hours, which killed my hands, but I did get a few levels doing. Then I switched to normal teaks, AFK in a new area for the Varlamore skilling key half potential. No 2-ticking NPCs in this area, but it was relaxing. I was able to edit while AFKing teaks, and eventually I did get 88 woodcutting here, but I also did get that half of a moon key if I can ever figure out a way to finish Heart of Darkness off and get one of those other pieces of the key for a rare 1,000 on average hour chance at a lunar helmet. We'll see. If it's ever possible, I'm definitely going to go for at least one chest opening. Speaking of which, I still want to keep thinking of new ways on this account to complete a Moxliotl in the Heart of Darkness quest version, so I can actually start the new quest, get access to that chest, and even get new untradables from the new quest, as you can get these during the quest, which is a flex in itself, and they are wieldable. So next was thieving. I needed 75 thieving technically for all the clue steps I would need to do. I did this by knocking out bandits and chugging rest between the times I would fail in Palvanich. I also did some of the thieving through Stone Chest and Zaya because I didn't have Zarek's talismans yet on this account because I originally thought I couldn't train thieving due to those Slayer blocks, but now that I realize I can, I had a stone tablet from earlier Chambers of Zarek KC combat achievements, got the 2 talismans, used my stone tablet on one of them, so I got the extra teleport, and I had 1 extra talisman now to mount in my house eventually with those 2 stuffed heads. Another requirement I got was 90 herb lore. That didn't take too long. 73 crafting didn't take long at all. I got my Scythian as well after a few hours to 84 through plate bodies for a Korvac Grog boost to 88 to make the Rune Med Helm. I also needed 85 mining for clue step requirements, and I ended up getting 95 just from AFKing stars over literally the last year while editing. Eventually I will go for 98.9 mining and then 99, but yeah, only 85 was needed for the clue requirements, but I just kept going. And while I was going, I did end up getting super lucky and pulling a golem pet at only 94 mining as well, just very recently. That's the first pet on this account. I'm not going to name him because that's not cool, but I am going to make him red for now because I think that's cool. Actually, I really hate the color red. It just looks good on the golem right now for me. I don't know why. I'll probably change it to blue here soon. Who knows? Speaking of AFKing while editing, I also paid for more normal challenge mode boosts, as eventually I'll need 150 chambers completions for all possible combat achievements, and all possible combat achievements on this account is one of my actual goals, the ones that I can complete as a level 3. I'm never going to get to elites probably, but I just want to see how many points I can rack up. Unless something changes and they add tons of bosses level 3s can do, I doubt to ever see those elite rewards from the combat achievements. But yeah, for 1 CM it's about 40 minutes on average. I can just AFK in the lobby and pay a small price for each of these. As well, I get a small chance at some of the dark talismans which give XP, as well as a pet. A very small chance at a pet because I'm awarded 5,000 points for just being there in challenge mode, not even doing anything, whereas if you're doing the normal mode you get 0 points unless you actually contribute. So although I do have a small chance at a purple or any drop in general, it's going to be a very small chance indeed. But who knows? Maybe one day we'll get the Olm pet. I also found out there was one more combat achievement in Chambers of Zarek I didn't know was even possible, but I was later told it was, with a top tier team of gamers, and that is the challenge mode 3-man speedrun. It took our team several attempts and muling on my behalf as well, making some of the potions on my part as well, storing them in the chest and then dropping them in certain locations. Specifically, the determining factor here was dropping them at the end during the Olm fight, so they didn't have to keep running into the final room and dying over and over again. They just had pretty much an unlimited stockpile of potions at the end to keep them alive while taking on Olm. It took a few hours to get enough RNG as well as to perfect everything here in the method, but finally that 2+1 3-man trio CM speedrun challenge was completed. Shout out to Dejin and Atonement for helping me out with this task and spending several hours for free just doing this. You guys rock. So now I still needed 80 agility, 78 slayer, and 77 rune crafting for all the clue step requirements I can possibly do. Rune crafting is going to be fast with running essence, but agility is going to be a bit slow, and slayer is going to be the worst of it, being a probably 2-week consistent grind. Similar to me looking for ways to complete a Moxliotl, I did spend a lot of time looking for ways to bypass the family crest magic requirement, and I did this for quite a few hours because I wanted to flex eventually the family crest gauntlet glove slot, which I have done on a level 3, which which was done through old means which are no longer possible using an LMS boost, but also by getting 2.9 magic, which I would not want to do because I would not show up on level 3 high scores on this account. So even if that method was still possible, not worth it at all on this account whatsoever. I tried other methods with other alt accounts by using several accounts that were mid-quest or that had finished quest, trying to figure out how to make the demon drop the family crest piece without needing the magic and the magic XP. What I found out is you require a last hit of 0 damage to be yours with no actual kill credit to get the shield piece. So technically I could curse Goblin Hammer this thing, and it's a separate drop table from the ashes that this demon actually drops. So one account that does the most damage could actually get the ashes, while the other account that does the last hit of damage, like Slayer even being a 0, can get the crest piece. There is still a check earlier in the process which looks for at some point in your account's history that you've used all 4 of the blast spells on Chronozone, not specifically even the one you're killing at the time. It could have been one that was killed by you like 7 times ago that you used blast spells on 8 months ago when you logged in. It doesn't show a cross-off difference in the quest journal itself, but there's some kind of progression attributed to the actual account when you use these blast spells on this monster inside of your quest journal that is not visible and stays with the account indefinitely until you finally do that 0 last hit of damage onto a Chronozone. Whether you do most of the damage or the real last hit of damage or none of it, you'll finally get that crest piece, but you still need those 4 blast spells. And I did even research back into RS3 Death Touch Dart because this was a contradiction. There were level 3s that would throw Death Touch Darts in RS3 and complete the Family Crest quest, but this is because they reworked the entire quest and the boss, and they even moved the boss to a different location inside the Varrock sewers outside of the wilderness. I even tested killing the boss in 1 stroke on a high level account that was mid-quest without touching any of the blast spells, and this would have simulated the same thing as a Death Touch Dart in RS3, but it didn't work out. After hours of testing the mechanics behind this boss and this quest, I found out there was no real feasible way to overcome the Family Crest quest. Other quests though, we'll look into in the future. So I said earlier I want to complete every combat achievement that's possible, so I'm going to also look back into killing Lizardman Shaman for the combat achievement, along with the Greater Demon for wrist XP at the end of the kill using a Silver Light and an alternative way to damage it at just the right tick. Lizardman, I believe, can be used with Poison Dynamite after all. I was told this and later looked back into it. I think it was just the current state that Lizardmen were in, or maybe it was the ones inside that area that didn't allow me to use the Poison Dynamite. If worst came to worst, I could find a foolproof method to overcome this task and risk a 1 hit of damage and take 4 XP to complete this combat achievement. During this whole few months of time, another small achievement I had done was quite a few quests on this account that I just haven't covered. The most important were the 2 of the 3 new released quests with the Varlamore Part 3 expansion. There were slight boss problems with this. I overcame multiple quest bosses with Poison Dynamite in the first quest with the egg, and by getting the poison off from the 1 in 4 chance after hitting real damage on these bosses seemed to be the best tactic here. But these bosses had a little bit more than poisonable HP, and I would have to do some recoil, and just decided to go into this and Purple Sweet, then Guthix Rest my HP to 15/10 to avoid its 14 max hit for every hit, and recoil this boss over and over again. If the poison didn't roll in, I just went for the recoil method instantly. I did these new quests on day of release in case something changed, like bosses becoming immune to recoils or something like that, with all the new stuff they're doing and adding to NPCs inside of this game and altering the entire core mechanics of the game like they typically do. So I wanted to get these quests out of the way as soon as possible. In fact, one of the things I thought they might change is the red dragons in this first quest with the egg actually had no dragon fire with them, and I didn't have Dragon Slayer started for Slayer reasons, so I didn't have an anti-fire shield and probably would have got slaughtered even just running to the quest boss version, which also didn't have dragon fire, which was good because then I could use this Guthix Rest tactic and go ahead and recoil down its entire HP with 15/10. The other 2 bosses in this quest I managed to poison. All these new NPCs did have the new pathing that could go around most objects. There were certain areas I could stand and get them completely safe spotted off from myself using multiple objects, not just corner traps on one. The second new quest with the ball looking area, whatever it is with the ants walking around, that one was huge because it gave me access to that new second Belladonna patch. That's double stackable nightshade output, as now there are 2 patches instead of just 1 patch in Draenor, and this is going to be a huge benefit to the account, as stupid as it sounds. Anyways, this quest had hefty requirements like a high Slayer level for a level 3, 54 or 56 I believe, but luckily I had my Slayer up to 62 from lamps and other quests at this time, and the NPCs you had to kill in this quest were instanced, but you didn't have to do true damage to them, so no poison dynamite was required on these. The problem though was they had tons of HP and they were immune to poison anyways, so I brought tons of recoils and sweets, being like over 1000, and found their individual aggression lines and where they stopped, because they were not able to be safe spotted like most new NPCs in traditional corner trapping ways. So I had to kill all 3 of these NPCs in one session, which cost me about 8 million sweets and tons of time because their HP once again was so high. It was actually quite easy to mess this up surprisingly though and get killed, which I did have happen once, and I had Gothic Stress in the backup in case I didn't leave the aggression spot soon enough or in case I needed to speed up a kill, but they weren't technically necessary here because unlike the NPCs in the last quest, they had lower max hits, being able to hit under my HP without Gothic Stress despite them having more health. Eventually I completed though this quest along with the previous one on release day in case, and I will soon max out quest points, I just don't know when. There's still a lot of easy quests I haven't completed for top secret reasons. So as a quick summarization here, the future of this account and the goals in their entirety, and probably ones I'll be streaming a lot of, are as follows. Finish off the skilling requirements for all steps I can possibly complete for Master Elite, Hard, Medium, and Easy clues, which I almost have. I'm then going to look into the Nightmare for combat achievements, see if any of those are possible. Get a few more Theater of Blood combat achievements, possibly like Perfect Theater, and like the one where no one can be close to each other in challenge mode at Bloat. Get tons of KC combat achievements inside of Theater of Blood and Chambers of Xeric. Look for a way to complete Heart of Darkness. Go ahead and look into Saradomin and Dagonoth King combat achievements. Look more into the Scurrious combat achievement of killing all of the rats in a set amount of time. Combat achievements like possibly pushing the Deranged Archaeologist to the Fountain of Ruin for the magic kill. Look into more Barrows combat achievements other than just the kill count ones I completed a long time ago, because these might be possible, and although they take probably thousands of dynamite to complete and tons of time, they are low points, and once again I'm trying to just max out points to the most that can ever be completed by a level 3. I also want to look back into other one-pointer combat achievements, once again like the Greater Demon ones, the Lizardman Shaman ones, and other Slayer NPC ones once I get them. Eventually even Smoke Devil combat achievements and kill count once my Slayer gets high enough to do that. I also plan to go back to Araxor at some point for 75 kill count combat achievement task, and I believe it's 50 kill count or 25 as well. Once again, it's just a few points, but I'll be needing to relearn all the muscle memory for that boss if nothing's changed. For an hour average per KC without failures, meaning this task will probably take me 100 hours to complete with failures. Maybe I'll get lucky with pet sacrifices and 75 KC. Maybe I'll get an Araxor pet, although it's not my favorite. Every spider pet at this point looks the same to me. I might need the actual Slayer level now for Araxor, which won't be a problem anyways because once again we're maxing out Slayer and all skills, but before you only needed a spider task for the method I developed, and I'm not really sure if they changed this since it requires like 1,000 sweets and an hour per attempt to kill it with this method without Slayer. I feel like, you know, eventually it's going to get changed, but it's unlikely they change something as low priority and as complex and difficult to pull off as that. Along with going back to things, I also want to go back to the Eclipse Moon, which was the easiest moon to kill possibly in my time at Perilous Moons, to try and achieve 25 kill count for the last Perilous Moons combat achievement I can possibly do. And this is probably going to take several hours once again, and will require outside help from viewers possibly on a stream once again to drop me Phoenix necklaces. Since it's been about a year and a half, I'll also need to relearn a lot of muscle memory with the crate ring neck repeat method and how to go about doing all of that along with its special attacks. With all these combat achievements, I'll need to go back and collect a lot more poison dynamite, probably thousands. That's going to take some time. I'll also want to complete all clue tiers. Once again, medium, easy, hard, elite, not beginner because that sucks. I also want that mimic combat achievement if it's possible from master clues I pull from those other tiers of clues. If I can't get the bloodhound pet, I at least want to try my hand at mimic. So we'll try and make that happen, whether that's years or months from now. I also want to get the Theater of Blood dust and pet eventually still by doing hard mode theaters with the help of the people I've recruited into my Discord. I want to complete all possible quests, putting me at around 144 quest points now, and that's with the Firminic Trials quest. That's with Priest and Peril quest lines such as the Creature of Frankenstrain, the Garden of Tranquility, Shades of Morton, and more, along with me being the only level 3 still currently to complete Perilous Moons and the Meet and Greet quest, adding a few more quest points to our list, and maybe eventually even Heart of Darkness, maybe eventually even more that I look into. And I'm going to also possibly look into ways of getting into Tombs of Amascut, maybe without the quest, maybe with the quest. Likely impossible. Those bosses are immune to literally everything. I don't even think it's possible with a DFS on my defense peer that's going to be maxed, so I'm gonna probably put that as an F- in terms of feasibility unless some crazy item comes out. But that would unlock a lot of more combat achievements and possibly even a way for me to get the elite tier combat achievement unlocks, although extremely far-fetched in theory. Finally, on the account, I'm going to get 98 in all stats, get an untrimmed Slayer or Sailing Cape, then complete 99 in all stats I can get, including Slayer, possibly then more master clues by using Implings, spending tons of money and swapping clues for those master clues to juggle on the ground because of my lack of steps I can complete in the master clues for the eventual Bloodhound pet or the Mimic, or both if I get lucky, and that would basically complete the account until more bosses and combat achievements come out that the level 3 can do. I'm not going to be going for collection log slots, but that's the rundown. It sounds like a lot, but in reality, we might be halfway there. Probably not. We might be a third of the way there. So stay tuned for more content, always on the level 3. Whether I switch up content, whether I start designing, doing new things, I'm always going to have a passion for doing things at low levels. Whether that's in my more free time, I will still occasionally upload content on it. Yeah, we're just going to do a slight revamp to everything that's going on and continue on like all people do. Thank you all for your support once again. The suit is up for bidding on eBay. Hello, yes, this is me on a different day, Bozo as well on a different day. I've realized what I wanted to do, and that's not do this and that and this and that. I realized how I can do everything I've ever wanted to from the mind by creating another YouTube channel. So if you all want to check this out, it's a delve into my mind, the process of how I think about things. And yes, I am not very grounded. I'm constantly in Fantasyland. In fact, I hope that it'll actually help a lot of people out by seeing how I can dissect my thoughts, put them down onto paper, and possibly even use some of the examples I have for products, ideas, ways of life, everything. So yeah, I went ahead and made a whole video here and a website and a new channel. You can check it out in the description below. Subscribe to that if you want to. If not, all good. Just a little experiment I decided to go about doing. Oh, lastly, if you made it this far, you're a dedicated fan, and I need to ask a favor of you. Are any of you NEETs, like, not employed at the current time and in any US time zone? I need to find 3 people who use voice chat, who have a little bit of character, charisma to them. Not a lot, or a lot, I guess. But hit me up in my Discord. I'm gonna make you famous. I'm gonna make you mine. When I say mine, I'm not kidding either. I'm gonna need you playing the game with me, for me, 5 days a week. And you need some decent PVM capability, not anything crazy, but new video series idea I want to pursue. Hit me up on Discord. I'm taking applications for my next slave. Next 3 slaves. Maybe 4. I don't know.